Hey guys, it's TimmyG back with another Logic Pro tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to make a dubstep synth super quickly, only using the ESM and some effects in Logic Pro. So let's get started. So I'm going to add a new track, my ESM synth. Okay, and when I click on this, I just have this. I'm hitting Command K to get musical typing. The only thing I'm going to change is the cutoff. Maybe go from about 30% to maybe 60%. And that's it. Next thing I'm going to do is add some EQ, and I'm not going to do anything right now, but I'll mess with that later. But here's where the grit of this sound is going to be. I'm going to add a bit crusher. So that's under distortion. Go to bit crusher, mono. And what I'm going to do is just distort the crap out of this thing. I'm going to turn the clip level way down to -10, and the drive to about 30 decibels. So here's what this is going to sound like, maybe 32. So it already sounds fatter, but still kind of sounds boring. So I'm going to close out of this and go back to our EQ and add a low cut filter, okay? And we're going to really get our main sound from automating this filter right here, the frequency of this filter. So what I'm going to do first is change the slope from 24 decibels per octave to 48. Then I'm going to boost this up so I have this kind of little hump right here. And then, now watch what happens when I play a note on the MIDI keyboard and then automate this frequency. So that's kind of a fat sound already. I'm going to change the octave now. So that was the octave up. Now I'm going to go down. So that's about it for the main sound design. Now we're just going to make it sound a little bit less dry. Well, first, this is in mono, and I want this to be in stereo. So I'm going to add an ensemble plugin. So I'll go to modulation, ensemble, mono to stereo. So now, if you listen, it's a stereo sound. I'm going to pick one of these presets. Let's see. Screen Door is one that I like. But that's a little too much, too wide, I'd say. So I'm going to change this output mix from 55% maybe to 30%. And let's go back here to my EQ. All right, cool. Now I'm going to add some echo. So if I go down to delay, echo, stereo. This is my default echo. I have my note at 1/16, feedback at 64, color at 37, dry all the way up, and then wet at 7%. So it just adds a little bit. And then I'm going to add some reverb. I'll go down and add maybe the chroma verb. I've been messing around with this. And maybe I'll pick a plugin, room, clean strat room, who knows. I'll turn dry all the way up and then wet maybe down to 10%, 8%. And I'm going to boost this up and turn this down. This is just like an EQ. And then I am just going to put another bit crusher, almost to act as a soft clipper. Not really to add any more volume, but just to kind of make this peak as low as possible. All right, so now what I'm going to do is mess with the EQ from the original plugin. So I'm hitting Command K to get this back. And then if I go up an octave. All right, so now that we've designed the synth, which I'm pretty happy with, I'm going to send this out so I can actually record it in audio. I could easily record it in MIDI, but I don't have my MIDI controller hooked up, so I think it's actually easier to record this in audio, and then I'll be able to splice that audio up if I want to. Anyway, so the way I'm going to do that is actually send this out, not to the stereo output anymore, but to a bus. So I'll go bus 2. And then if we look in the mixer right here, it's calling it aux 1, but the input here is bus 2. And then I'm going to actually open a new audio track to record bus 2 on. And it already has bus 2 there, which is nice. So I'll hit create. So now anything that I record in MIDI here is actually going to print the audio to a waveform, which is great. I'm going to hit mute here, and then record on both this and this. And then I believe that this should work. So I'm going to hit Command K to get this. And then I will open this to automate. And then I'm going to hit R. It'll count in for a bar, and then we'll start recording. So here we go. All right, here we go. So right here, I have the MIDI, but the way that I just recorded, it didn't record the automation. So if we just listen to this. Now, I could set it up to record that way. I think what I do is hit automate, and then I have the low cut frequency. That's what I was automating here. But I would, instead of read, I'd have to go to touch. But I didn't do that, obviously. What I did do is print it to audio. So if we click right here, I'll mute this. So there's that kind of cool sound that we have. And then the one cool thing about printing this to MIDI is, if I play this back here, I'm going to turn this record off. I'm going to mute this track, duplicate it, and drag this on here and unmute. And if you've seen my sub bass tutorial, here I have an easy way to turn this instrument into a sub bass. So I'm going to go right here, hit Y, go to my settings that I made. I'll go to sub bass or sub bass tutorial. That's the one I made for the tutorial. And then I know that this note was a little early, so I'll just move this one a little bit early. Right there. And then all of these are too high. Okay, now this is obviously not mixed. This is a synth tutorial, but here's what it would sound like. And then obviously you can go in and change things, make minor tweaks to all this stuff. But hopefully you think this sound is cool, and here's what we came up with. After making that recording, I decided to chop this track up, what we recorded. So right here, into this, and more. And then I added this, which was another thing. I sampled it down an octave, so this is going to be in the background. And then I added just a kind of pad in the background that's kind of spooky. I added some crash cymbals and some hi-hats. I added a little intro riser. So let's take a look at it. I'm gonna mute this, and here we go. So once you put a little bit of effort into this, and I'd say this took me about maybe 20, 25 minutes to really all put together, you can get a really cool, professionally sounding track just starting off with our little mono synth and a ton of distortion. So I hope you like the track, and I hope that you got some ideas that you could use something like this or any of these techniques to help improve your music production. Anyway, that's about it. If you like this video or if it helped you out, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or video suggestions, be sure to leave a comment. And if you want to see more content like this and check out my other music production videos, my DJ videos, or original music, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot. I think I'm losing my mind. Yo.